to our podcast, where we explore innovative solutions to help businesses thrive. I'm your host, David Singletary, and today we're diving into a topic that's transforming industries worldwide called Robotic Process Automation, or RPA. We'll uncover what RPA is, how it works, and the incredible ways it's making businesses more efficient, scalable, and competitive. Joining us today is Dimitry Ortiz, an RPA specialist and a key member of our team. Dimitry has been at the forefront of implementing RPA solutions for businesses of all sizes, with years of experience in automation and process automation. He's here to demystify RPA for us. How are you doing, Dimitry?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, David. Thank you. Happy to be here. Excited for this
Yes,
conversation.
good. Let's start with the basics. Can you explain what RPA is and how it works in layman's terms?
Sure. I love talking about RPA. RPA stands for Robotic Process Automation. Now, let's start with the name. Many people get a little bit confused because the fact is that it says robotics, but it's actually not talking about real robots. That this don't have physical bodies. It's more like business process automation. Now, what they are is they're robots that automate repetitive, mundane tasks that humans normally do, like copying data from system to system, filling out forms, sending out emails. Now, what these are more like software programs, just like that mimic human actions in a computer. It's almost like having a digital employee. But these are more like they function more like what we know. The best way to explain it would be, or compare it to, would be like people that have used Excel spreadsheets and they have worked with macros, or people in the IT industry that have worked with scripts. They're very similar to that. They're rule-based. They follow specific manual tasks, and but they're obviously a lot more sophisticated, and they can work with different systems at the same time.
Okay. So how does that differ from traditional automation or AI? That's kind of like the buzzwords right now. Are there overlaps?
Yeah, so a lot of people sometimes, if you think about the startup, the word automation, it actually started where computer programs, through programming, they would program computers that would control physical robots or machinery in, like, for example, manufacturing or assembly lines. That's the first automation that people actually think when they think automation. So that's the traditional automation. The RPA is the one that's in the middle. So RPA is almost like back office automations, administrative work. So it's more like software that mimics human interactions with a computer. That's more like what RPA does. It functions just like it functions through the user interface. In other words, instead of using an API or a more sophisticated connection, it actually uses the user interface that it acts as a user, just like a user would, and it follows the keyboard strokes and the mouse clicks. So that's pretty much where RPA is now. AI or agentic AI. Now that's the next level. Everybody has been hearing all those buzzwords, and they really don't understand what it can do for you. But what it does is now we have agents that can function autonomously, that can actually they don't have to be limited to the rule based as RPA is, but they can actually come up with autonomously can reason and make decisions, and that would be the next level. So that's where we're at.
Oh, wow, that sounds very exciting. Can you give us a simple example of what RPA might automate, such as like processing invoices or onboarding employees? Are those good examples?
Yes, so RPA handles, for example, you said invoice processing. I think invoice processing is one of the biggest pain points for big corporations. As you know, they have so many vendors and they have to keep up with just hundreds and hundreds of interactions through ERPs and CRM. So what RPA does is it actually helps you um, digitize everything you have. In other words, you have associations with RPA and AI where intelligent document processing can be handled. In other words, unstructured data, which means things like that are not in spreadsheets, that are not digitized, that are like, for example, written on paper or just paper in general. So I believe that one of the best that you mentioned, invoice processing, is one of the most common ones because people actually have to read papers one by one, read it and enter into a system. With intelligent document processing, which is part of the RPA ecosystem, you can actually have the system read these papers, enter them into a system, and have them accessible at in any way. Create forms, create emails from this gathered data. So I believe that invoice processing is one of the most common and one of the biggest impact in businesses when it comes to RPA.
Okay. Um, what are some of the benefits of RPA? Cost savings, efficiency, reducing error, scalability. Like, what are some of the things that you see out there? What type of businesses would you say can benefit from it?
Okay, so the businesses that can benefit from it, I would put atop finance, so banking, insurance, accounting. As you know, those industries handle so many spreadsheets, they handle so many systems, so many flying parts, and people having to do a lot of repetitive work, a lot of repetitive entering of data, abstracting data, filling out forms and such. So I think that's where RPA really shines. Another one that is one of my favorites is healthcare. Patient handling, claims processing. I mean, there's a lot of those a lot of those functions that tasks that take a long time, that require, especially when you're talking about health, you require some high accuracy. One of the things that people need to understand about automation and some of the biggest benefits from it is the fact that when you put, like, for example, in accounting, you have people doing repetitive work, entering data, filling out forms, as I mentioned, filling out reports. There's a factor called uh, human error. In other words, there's that human error that is involved, and so that could cost the company a lot of money. And this is where it shines, because once you automate one of these software bots to do a task, it will perform it at its exact form, because it's predefined. So in other words, you know what to expect, and there are no errors. It's error handling. So I believe in many of the businesses these days. For example, customer service is another one where you are able to extract data from any database or any whatever it is that you have your knowledge base, and you can get that information in real time and access it and improve your customer service, because you can provide whatever inquiries they may have at real time. So these are some of the benefits that the companies have when they implement something like RPA, because they are able to, first of all, not be forced to hire more staff to do this type of work. For example, many of the accounting firms have like backlogs that they have to do at a certain time of the year, and so they have to hire 10 persons to do the work. And so now you don't have to, because you have this established digital workers doing the work 24/7, weekends, holidays, no sick days. Those are the
Yeah,
real advantages.
yeah, definitely. So how can like a small business leverage RPA without, I can definitely see large corporations that have a big budget that can do some of this, but are there things that a small business can leverage?
A great question. And this is one of my favorite questions, because it's really revolutionizing the way we do business. Many people only hear about corporations and the way they implement automation, many times pushing a lot of layoffs and such. And so there's a negative sense that people have with automation. But if when you flip it and not look at corporate level, but you look at the 97% of businesses, which are small, medium-sized businesses, the game changes. Because now, instead of instead of cutting people, you're actually needing people for different tasks in your business. And to start as a business owner or a small, medium-sized business, it is very difficult with the cash flow that you're working with to be able to hire employees, full-time employees, onboarding them, giving them all the training they need, and hoping that they stay, and hoping that there's retention. So those are the things that small, medium-sized businesses and business owners can leverage automation to scale their business. And this is very important because now you can have control of your business. You know exactly what's happening. You can have up to 30% of your internal operations automated. So it's continuous business. You can have you know what to expect from your automation. And again, like I said, instead of breaking bank and not being able to, when you increase your business, you can scale it without breaking the bank. And that's a big deal for business owners, because now you don't need to, you can actually have these software digital workers working for you 24/7, as opposed to you dealing with, you know, the difficulties that you have to face with HR, with onboarding, with hiring talent, retaining talent. You know, we had all these problems with people wanting to work from, you know, remote areas or hybrids or any of that. Well, with automation, you don't deal with any of those problems. And so it's
Yeah,
good for businesses like that are starting.
yeah, I could definitely see like if there's someone that's focused on entering tons of invoices, and maybe they can cut their time in half so they can focus on other areas of the business. That's a benefit. So now you don't have to hire someone else to do those other tasks that that person is also taking on, because there's less for them to do because automation is handling a lot of the work that they were doing before. So that's definitely a benefit for a small business. Um, so let's talk about like the implementation and some of the challenges that might come up. Um, so like, what does the process of implementing RPA look like for a business?
You know, it's wonderful because now the further we go ahead with technology, the more affordable and accessible it's becoming. Again, going back to the fact that this type of automation was only affordable for big corporations that had a lot of money to invest and a lot of time and a lot of IT departments to back them up and to be able to implement successfully. Now, with specifically with RPA, we are able to, because it's a technology that it doesn't require full-blown programmers like in the past. This actually is a low code to no code technology, which takes a lot less time to program and complete, and it requires a lot less. You know, it costs a lot less because you don't have to pay a team of developers to be able to bring the code up to completion within 6 to a year. Sometimes it could take a long time to finish and implement. Now with this, we can actually implement end-to-end automation within a month, which is incredible because it's like light speed. When you think about implementation of new technology, it takes a long time. But with RPA, pretty much what it does, just to give you a quick overview of that, what we do is we first have a discovery call. We talk to our clients. We explain what RPA can do, and we focus on the low-hanging fruit. In other words, we want to make sure that we target some repetitive tasks that they do quite a bit, like in big amounts. And so we try to tackle those low-hanging fruit, repetitive uh, tasks that you may have within your workflows, and we streamline that, and we show you with a POC, a proof of concept. In other words, we grab something small, low-hanging fruit, repetitive tasks that can actually have an impact. That's something that it takes an hour, 2 hours, 5 hours from different employees. And so we have a proof of concept. We show you what the power of automation. We show you how fast it can be implemented, and we put it from from our environment to yours, and we implement it seamlessly, and show you not only its impact but its immediate ROI, because you can see that it saves a lot of time. I have never seen one of my clients look at the power of automation when they look at the screen fly and all these words flying and clicks going and going faster than any human could ever do. it's just wonderful to see their faces and going, wow, this is amazing. This is one, I didn't know this was available. I didn't know this was possible. So it's just wonderful to see our clients' faces when they see how incredibly fast and accurate and efficient the automation can be. And so, yeah, it doesn't take too long. It takes within a month, we could have something already implemented, taking action, and showing them the benefits of RPA and automation.
Good. What are some of the common challenges businesses face during implementation that you might run into?
Okay, so two of the ones I can think of, for example, internal IT teams sometimes is difficult because as a computer scientist, I used to take over infrastructures, computer systems. So anytime there was any third party coming in or a new software that was implemented into our infrastructure, I was very cautious and made sure that they knew what they were doing, that I could help them out with whatever they needed from me, any access and any sandbox environment. So one of the challenges that we've seen is working with IT teams and being able to work with their environment and being able to implement it. Those are some of the challenges I found before, but we've been able to always work them out. Explaining the best way to solve this is talking to the IT, getting them involved, explaining to them step by step what we're going to do, and having them have a sense of not worry about what's going to happen in their infrastructure. So working with the IT team is a key, because if you don't have the support of the IT team, implementation becomes just horrific. So that's some of the challenges you can have in your corporation or in your business. So working with the IT team is important. Another aspect of automation, I think it's management. Management needs to be very up to date with what's happening and keeping their teams up to date. In other words, being transparent, because I've seen in some cases where they're not necessarily involving people that subject matter experts, management, or even people that are key in this workflows that we automate. So I think it's important to be transparent with employees, let them know what the benefits are going to be, what this automation is going to do for them. And when you actually show them that it's going to remove a lot of the mundane, repetitive manual work that they really don't want to do, because nobody, it's 2025. I can guarantee you, no employer wants to hire anyone to do data entry, and no employee wants to do data entry all day. So again, when you explain to them that this is not even, we're actually delegating the work to the correct entity, which is a software bot, because these are very robotic work that humans are doing. So when you explain to them the benefits and help them improve their relationship with technology, things work out the best. So when we work with IT teams, and when management and everyone is involved and there's transparency in what's happening, you have the best implementations.
Yeah, that's definitely something I could speak to. It all starts from the top. If you have the manager or upper manager or owners involved in the process and they're behind it, the project works a lot smoother, because there will definitely be people on a project team that have no interest in this project. So, if you don't have the owner or the manager there to make sure that everyone on the team is working together, it could definitely derail the project. So definitely having buy-in from upper management is very important. So how does RPA integrate with existing systems? Like, because we work a lot with CRMs and ERPs. Like, how does that kind of work with integrating those type of systems?
Pretty seamlessly. The one thing that I like about RPA is technologically agnostic. In other words, it does not care about what technology you use. It does not matter what platforms you're handling. It does not matter what different. You can have multiple programs, multiple platforms, multiple ERPs, CRMs, and whatever it is that you use. It actually, because as I mentioned, it works. Like, for example, with ERPs and CRMs, it acts as a user. So just like a human would log into the system, and interact with the menus and enter data and such, all the things that a human does. RPA handles it as a user. So it's a very seamlessly, and that's why it can connect to, it can work with any system. And one of the best parts, because it works through the user interface, it doesn't always necessarily require integration or API, which are very costly and more. It's a lot more work to deal with. So these are some of the things that RPA, it works with any system, and it pretty much interacts with any program you may need it to work with. So it's that's the reason why it's so powerful and
Gotcha.
flexibility.
Gotcha. So I know you touched on this a little bit at the beginning. What are some of the current trends in RPA and where do you see it heading in the next 5 to 10 years, if you could even tell, because technology is changing so rapidly.
Great question. So right now we're starting to see AI powered automation. So in other words, if, as I mentioned, RPA is strictly rule based. So in other words, it works there. It works through predefined instructions. So it's very limited to, once it gets out of those instructions, once it's out of that task, then it doesn't do anything. It stops or it sends you a flag. So the way the way I'm looking at the future now, it's AI empowering RPA, because now you have what they're called AI agents. So these are like the next level of automation, because automation, like I said, was rule based, so it was limited to what you programmed it to do. Now you have autonomous agents that are cognitive. In other words, they have the ability to reason, they have the ability to make decisions. This is something that traditional automation couldn't do before. So this is the new level of automation. This is great because now you have this AI agents. This is new technology. 2025 is considered to be the year for agentic AI to come into the play, because now they're still like, they're going to act like digital workers, but they're going to be more powerful because they're going to be able to have access to, for example, your knowledge base in your company, and they are going to be able to, for example, customer service. You're going to be able to have inquiries answered on real time with any of the information, accurate information that you can provide from the company. You're not going to have predefined or pre-recorded or pre-programmed stuff. Now they're going to just be able to understand your company and be able to make decisions and write emails for you and write quotes and write proposals and write any of these things that only humans could do before. And so we're heading towards these entities having the ability to reason, learn, and make decisions. So this is very powerful.
Okay. So for any of the business leaders that are listening today, like what would be something a last bit of information you would tell them about the advantages of RPA, or if they're hesitant about investigating moving forward with something with RPA?
Yeah, I want to remind them that business is all about competition. So keeping your competitive edge is very important. Keeping your costs low is incredibly important. Being able to maintain talent, retain talent, and keep your internal operations moving seamlessly, it's very important. And keeping up with technology, as I tell a lot of business people that I work with, not understanding technology and the advantages of technology and how to leverage it can make you instead of a competitor, a statistic waiting to happen. So you don't want to fall behind. You don't want to be the last one to try to implement something. You don't want to be the one to be too late to implement. So you definitely want to look into the technologies that are coming into. If you don't know enough knowledge, there's like automation consultants like myself that you can rely on, that you can ask questions and pretty much any concerns that you may have, because it's good to get those out of the way. Again, improving your relationship with technology, having the understanding of how you can leverage technology so you can scale your businesses is very important right now, and especially in the small, medium-sized businesses, because there's a lot of competition. Corporate it takes over many times because of the money, the power that they have. And so in order to stay competitive, you definitely need to understand technology and implement it the best way possible. Start small, start with proof of concepts, understand what automation can do for you, understand the limitations of automation, and where it's best implemented. So those are the recommendations I would give any business owner that that it's maybe falling behind and it's feeling a little the pressure of intelligent automation and AI coming in. Yeah, it's a must know basis. So I highly suggest that you start reading up on it. You know, come to podcasts like where they're talking about technology and really understand so that you can improve your understanding and relationship with technology. So you can definitely have a clear vision of how to move forward with your business so you can scale through automation.
Good. And, you know, everyone out there, if you have any questions, you can go to our website, dgs-digital.com. You can also email us at automation@dgsdigital.com. And we'll have a conversation with you. Just have a conversation, just talk about and see if it's right for you. So just to recap, today we learned about the power of RPA, its potential to revolutionize businesses, and the practical steps to get started. Dimitry, thank you for sharing your insights and your expertise. And thank you everyone for listening. You know, stay tuned for our next episode. We're going to continue talking about automation and how it can drive success for your business. Thanks again.
Thank you, David. Thanks, everyone. Pleasure.